Welcome to this third video in the series called Question Everything. If you haven't checked out the other two videos, we'll put a link in the description. But this video is all about new distribution incentives that you pay the distributor to do. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Ben Salisbury. Our consulting agency helps wineries and craft distilleries improve their sales strategy and sales process. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it and don't forget to subscribe. So what are we talking about here when we talk about new distribution incentives? It's a pretty simple process and most people know what I'm talking about here. You go to the distributor and you create an incentive for the distributor sales reps. You agree to pay some kind of a reward or a bounty to achieve a certain objective, to achieve some specific accomplishment. On the wine side, it's often a by the glass placement or a wine list placement. On the spirit side, it's often a back bar placement or a drink on the cocktail menu. Now in theory, this sounds like it would be a great idea. I mean, how wonderful to leverage the entire sales team of the distributor towards building all this new and high quality distribution. Just stay tuned. We're going to talk about what's wrong with this. In addition to having a specific objective you're trying to achieve, there's also typically some kind of a qualifier, like it needs to be 3 bottles on the back bar before it would count, or it needs to be 2 flavors, or for wine by the glass, it has to be in place for a month. Here's where it gets real dicey, and we'll get to that shortly. Now for this next section of the video, I struggled with whether to talk about why people do it first, and then talk about what's wrong with it, and I couldn't figure out which to do first, because they both frustrate me. So I'm just going to jump in and talk about why people do it, and then I'm going to really attack what's wrong with this. Okay, so there's 3 reasons that suppliers do it. First of all, it seems like the smart thing to do. You want new distribution. You want the new wines by the glass, new wine list placements, back bar placements, cocktail drinks on the cocktail menu that feature your product. Everybody wants it. That's the game, right? But this is not a very good way to do it, which I'm going to talk about. But that's why the number one reason people do it is it just seems like the right thing to do because it's the objective. It's what you're trying to do with your brand in the market. The second reason people do it is distributors encourage it. I mean, let's just face it. At any given time, a distributor sales rep has a long list of incentives that they can draw upon. And the distributor uses the opportunity to earn money on these incentives to supplement their income. These distributor sales reps depend on these incentives to make good money, as well they should. And the distributor counts on suppliers bringing an endless array of incentives to offer their sales reps. Seems like a win-win, doesn't it? It's certainly a win for the distributor, and it's a win for the sales rep, a chance to make some extra money. But it is not a win for the brand owner, and we're going to get into this. The other thing is at any given time, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of these, and so the distributor is constantly asking suppliers to up their game to enrich the incentives so that you can compete with all these other rewards that are being offered. So it's really quite a trap, and you're going to end up way overpaying for distribution that doesn't stick, so stay tuned for that. But the third reason people do it is it's easy, okay? I'm just going to call a spade a spade. There are a lot of good suppliers out there, and there's a whole lot of bad ones. And if you're drawing a paycheck from somebody to manage a certain area of geography, and your goal is to increase distribution and sales, well, not everybody's going to go out and do the hard work that it takes to do it. So they write a distributor incentive. Let the distributor do it. It's easy to do, to just write the incentive and stand back and watch the cases roll in. The problem is it's also very lazy. Didn't your grandmother teach you that there's no free lunch? Nothing comes easy in this world. And the things that do come easy, you don't want them. So that is the third reason people do it. I despise it. I'm not personally accusing you. The fact that you're watching this video tells me you want to improve. But man, this is a real problem. And this laziness, right? This, hey, let's just pay people to go out and put product in distribution. It is a bad idea, which I'm going to talk about next. Okay, so let's talk about why new distribution incentives that you pay the distributor to do are a bad idea, especially over the long period of time. So there's three things here that I'm going to talk about. One is that these placements don't stick. Okay, churn means that somebody made a placement and it was very temporary, and then off the menu it comes, or off the cocktail menu it comes. Churn is a necessary component of distributors allowing their salespeople to make a lot of money. If every supplier said, hey, we're going to pay you to put this new distribution in place, but it needs to stay in place for 6 months and generate at least 2 to 3 cases a month. Now, how many incentives are going to make it onto the list that way? There's not enough room for them all. So what you need is churn. You need to put the placement in temporarily, pocket the money for the incentive, and then get on to the next one. And you do this week after week, month after month. You, as a supplier, have to pay attention. This is a bad idea. Don't fall into this trap. These placements don't stick by design. They're designed to get into place just long enough to qualify for the money, and then they come out and they put something else in that place to get more money. What is wrong with suppliers that they do not see this? I think a lot of it has to do with the point I made earlier about just being lazy. That you do not want this kind of distribution. And let me talk about qualifiers for just a bit. I know this from my own personal experience. I think, I'm going to be really clever. I'm going to put a qualifier in that I'm only going to pay for this new distribution if it's in this type of account, and it has to stay for 1 month, and it has to generate these kind of volumes. Guess what's going to happen? Nobody's going to do it. No one's going to qualify. You just made it too hard for the person to do it. They're going to gravitate towards the things that they can churn, that they can do that's easy. So don't come to me and say, I put qualifiers in my incentives. I mean, my incentives are just, airtight, and there's no way people are going to get away with this churn. Well, you are fooling yourself. So the second thing that's wrong with distribution incentives is you're competing, and I mentioned this earlier, you're competing with so many other incentives, and the bar is continually rising. I would love to see somebody come up with a chart of what it used to cost to get a back bar placement 20 years ago and what it costs today. And there's so many products on the market. There was a time when new distribution incentives did stick because there wasn't such pressure to bring in another product right behind it. So let's say you're launching a new mezcal and you've got a great package and you've spent a lot of money on marketing and research, and you just know that if you could get it on the back bar and get it into distribution, then you can come back and do Facebook advertising and all of your other marketing to pull it off the back bar. You get it on a drink menu, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I got news for you. There are hundreds of mezcals who want the exact same thing. So who's going to win? Whoever has the richest incentive. So it's just a very expensive way to build new distribution. And the fact that it doesn't stick just makes it doubly bad. The third thing that's wrong with this is probably more than three, but I'm busy. I'm just going to give you the three and move on with my life. The third one is it rewards behavior that is destructive to your brand equity. Now, I don't mean to offend our distributor friends, but quite honestly, if you look at their warehouse and you look at their book, they can't afford to be worried about your brand equity. That's not their business model. Their business model is to ship product into the market at the right price, not run out of stock, keep their customers happy. The retailers and the restaurants are their customers. They do an excellent job of that. They're constantly raising the bar of how to be more efficient to do that. Managing the equity of your brand is not something that's on their radar. Why should it be? That's your job. But if you're not paying attention, things are going to happen as a result of these incentives that are destructive to your brand. Here's some examples. How about lowering the price? You put out a nice, rich incentive and you think, gosh, there's no way the distributor reps are going to be able to resist this incentive. Oh, they won't resist it, all right. And they'll do all kinds of things to get that money, including lowering the price or giving away product or calling in favors. I mean, this is not good for the brand equity. Imagine going into a restaurant and saying, hey, I saw in my report that you brought in our mezcal. Thank you so much. And where is it? Oh, well, Yeah, we brought this. The distributor rep said if we brought it in and left it on the back bar for a week, he would give us 2 tickets to the baseball game or whatever. If you don't think this stuff is going on, you are nuts. It's been going on since the repeal of Prohibition. So this isn't good for your brand. What good was it that your brand was brought into that bar, and the intent was, here, just bring this in and just let it lay around for a couple of weeks, and then you can do whatever you want. How was that good for your brand? It's not good for your brand at all. So it wasn't win-win. It was a win for the distributor. It was a win for the distributor sales rep. It was a loss for you, the brand owner, and it wasn't such a great deal for the retailer either. But something was in it for the retailer, or they wouldn't have done it. Both the seller and the buyer know that this game is temporary. Churn, bring them in, bring them out. And you must wake up and stop doing it. This is a bad idea. Next, I'm going to talk about what to do instead. So if you take away this tool, this favorite tool of suppliers and distributors everywhere, of paying distributor sales reps to go achieve a certain objective in the market, if you take away this tool, what the heck are you supposed to do instead? I have news for you. Because it's 2020 and we have way more wine brands and spirits brands than we've ever had before in the history of America, and we have vastly fewer distributors than we've ever had, you're going to have to come up with some new things, and you're going to have to do it yourself. That's the bottom line. In the 80s, there was a Smith Barney commercial that was quite famous, and it featured the actor John Houseman, and he would say, "We make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it." And that is very much what the climate is like today. You cannot rely on distributors to do what they used to do. They've got too much going on. You're going to have to do this yourself. If you're a business owner or a sales leader and you're watching this video, I want you to question really hard. If you got people out in the market that you're paying a salary and a company car and expense account and travel and vacations and health insurance, you better look really hard at what they're doing, because getting the distributor to do all the work or paying the distributor to do work is going to catch up to you. You're going to have very fleeting distribution. You're going to erode the brand equity, meaning you can't charge as much as you used to. It's just the natural course of things. So this is, paying for new distribution incentives it's like trying to catch a falling piano. One day you're going to wake up and your brand's going to be dead. So this is serious stuff. So what do you do instead? You're going to have to take a serious look at the new playbook. I talk a lot about the old playbook versus the new playbook. The old playbook is, incentivize the distributor, educate the distributor, get in the car and work with the distributor, hold a general sales meeting so you can, inspire the distributor and connect with them. None of this stuff really works very well anymore. So the things that you need to do instead are look to what the new playbook. You're going to have to generate your own demand. You're going to have to use your own people. You're going to have to hire people that can get out into the market and personally make placements. That's the way of the world. The idea that you would pay someone a fat salary to manage a whole bunch of distributors, this is a dinosaur. This is going away. What you need are young, aggressive, ambitious people who want to work their way up in the world, and they don't mind having a significant part of their compensation being based on results. Paying people to manage distributors, that's really kind of an antiquated way of doing things. So you need to have your own people. You need to change how you put who you hire, how you deploy them into the market, that sort of thing. Another thing is you need to be able to generate your own demand. You need to be able to have a relationship directly with trade buyers. You do that with Facebook lead ads and email marketing. These are new plays in the new playbook that most people have no idea how to do it. You need to keep track of everything you do in a cloud-based, mobile-friendly CRM. If this is going to sound very self-promoting, okay, but I don't know where else you're going to go to get this education on what is in the new playbook. But I have put together a free course called A Modern Playbook for Wine and Spirit Sales. It's free. It's a series of 6 videos. The whole running time, if you binge watch it from end to end, it'll take you 53 minutes. But in this video, I go through all the plays of the new playbook. So if you're sick and tired of spending a lot of money and not making any traction on your brand in the marketplace, you should check this out. But this whole idea of paying distributors to build distribution that is fleeting and is temporary and is destructive to your brand, this has to stop.